because here alcohol is actually less expensive than water.
Wow.
Oddly enough, yes. Yeah, you can buy a beer for about half the price of a bottle of water.
That's
Yes.
interesting. All right. Well, welcome to Adventure Freaks, the podcast, going over to Hungary with my new friend Danielle Cooper. Danielle, thanks for doing the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, so let's jump into it. Tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you landed in Budapest.
So, I'm originally from the Miami area. I've lived there most of my life. I've lived in a few other places in the US, but how I landed in Hungary, it's actually kind of a funny story. So, I always wanted to go to Europe, but I had never traveled to Europe. I'd only traveled throughout the Americas before. And so I had the opportunity through a corporate contract. They said, we need somebody to go to Budapest. And I said, okay, tell me when. Weeks later, I ended up here.
Wow, what a great
Yeah.
opportunity. So you had a company probably pay the move and everything.
Yes. And it was absolutely wonderful. So I lived here for almost 4 years. And then I had some circumstances where I moved back to the United States. And then I lived in the US for a couple of years. I always kind of had the desire to come back to Europe. I miss the European lifestyle. I really enjoyed Hungary. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back. And so here I am.
Okay, and you live in the capital, Budapest, correct?
Yes.
And is that where you lived in 2014 for the 4 years?
Yes, I did. So
Okay.
initially, when I first moved here, I lived right in the city center, so next to one of the biggest monuments in Budapest, which was St. Stephen's Cathedral.
Hmm.
And then when I moved back, I also lived city center. I lived right next to the building of Parliament, which is absolutely gorgeous. But now I'm kind of graduated to the suburbs, so I'm living in a house, on the outskirts of the city, but I'm still very accessible via public transportation.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this because I've never been to Hungary or Budapest. I've seen pictures. It's an absolutely beautiful city. What do you feel makes Budapest special compared to some of these other countries in Europe?
There are so many things that I absolutely love about Hungary and Budapest in particular. So, like you said, it is an absolutely beautiful city. You cannot beat the views at night. So, we are a landlocked country, but the Danube River, which flows through most of Europe, cuts right through the city of Budapest. It actually separates the two separate parts of Buda and Pest.
Okay.
So, when you are walking down the river at night, the lights from the castle, from Parliament, it's so beautiful and it's something you can't even describe. So I've been to other major European cities such as Rome, Paris, you name it, but nothing compares to the beauty here.
Wow. That's fascinating. I
Yes.
definitely I gotta go see this place. Let's jump into like visa requirements first. What do you know about you've had to get a visa, I'm sure, to live there. What are the requirements and how difficult is it for Americans or anybody to get a visa and live in Hungary?
So, in order to move to Hungary, well, first I want to say that a visa is required for most other countries. However, Americans are able to come to the European Union, which Hungary is a part of, for 90 days.
Hmm.
But for the residence permit, it is a little bit more difficult here. They do not offer a digital nomad permit as they do in some other Western European
Sure.
countries.
Yeah.
But what I found is an easy way is to either get a student residence permit. So if you have any kind of desire to maybe finish that degree that you never really worked on, or if you want to go for some higher education, that is a very low cost, easy way to move here. Also, you have the option of starting your own business here, which is what I've done. So, when I first moved here, I did move here on a student residence permit because I decided that I wanted to go back to school and get a degree in a different area than I initially had. So, that was my initial way in. However, I've moved into the self employment residence permit. So,
Okay.
I teach English. I also teach business professional skills and I do some media work as well. And I was able to easily, quickly start a business of my own and then transition my residence permit.
I see. Nice. So how about like people who are interested in the possibility of retiring in Hungary?
So they do offer some different programs for retirees. It is significantly easier if you have any sort of Hungarian ancestry.
I see.
Now, if you have Hungarian ancestry, you automatically do qualify for Hungarian citizenship because post World War II, they try to get a lot of Hungarian people to come back to Hungary. So if you have that option, I definitely recommend that because you
Okay.
get the European Union passport. You can freely work, travel, live in the European Union. However, if you do not have that option, such as I do not, um, there are different ways you can come here as a retiree. They have different plans for you. You can go through the investment route where you buy a property and then you obtain residency through that.
I see. Okay. Great information. Um, so let's jump into everybody needs a flat to live in.
Yes.
What do the flat like if somebody's coming over and they're going, I want to retire, I want to explore, I want to see if it's the right place for me, I want to live there for a year. What are flats going for? Low end to like, but comfortable flats in Hungary, I guess in Budapest. What can you get them for?
So, if you are looking for a one bedroom with a living room, full encompassing apartment, usually that will run you around six to 700 euros.
Okay.
So, the euro and the dollar are pretty comparable,
Pretty
but
good. Yeah.
you're probably looking about $700.
Okay.
Now, I live in a house. I'm right on the line of the public transportation system, so I'm able to easily go into the city center. And I have a four-bedroom true house with a yard,
Mhm.
and I pay around $1,500 a month.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying that they start right around $700 a month for a
Yes,
one bedroom.
yes, and but that is a city center apartment to where
Okay.
you would not need to drive. You can just easily walk to touristy type thing,
Sure.
restaurant, coffee shop, anything. Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm Ray, and today I have an announcement to make. I now offer one-on-one personalized consulting to help you navigate that journey of moving abroad. I know the idea of moving abroad can feel daunting and overwhelming. I've been there, and I talk to expats weekly who have successfully made that difficult transition. So if you're ready to make that move, but you're not sure where to start, you're feeling stuck, you have some questions that are unanswered, you can schedule a meeting with me to get the support and the guidance you need. You can click the link in the video description below to schedule a time to meet. I look forward to connecting. Now let's get back to the video. Okay. Do they have studios in Budapest?
Yes, they do, and those are a little bit less expensive. Um, I've seen studios run around $400 to $500 a month,
Okay.
so that is definitely an option. But one thing that you do need to watch out for here, if you go to rent an apartment, is they will list the living room as a bedroom here.
Okay.
So for example, I have a four-bedroom home, but it was originally listed as a five-bedroom home because they include the main living area as a bedroom.
As a bedroom. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, do those prices include utilities or are they separate?
It really depends on if you go through an agency, if you go through a private individual. So for me, it does not include utilities because it's a larger home and the utility costs do fluctuate.
Okay.
So traditionally, I would say no, but I have heard if you go through an agency that it is included. But
Mhm.
I would like to point out, with this information, the cost of utilities in Hungary have went up significantly over the past year because of the war between Russia and Ukraine. So
Okay.
Hungary shares a border with Ukraine, and Hungary is heavily reliant on Russian gas for
Hmm.
things like heating, you know, petrol for cars, so all of those things. So the utilities have went up significantly. So I would believe that most places would not include those.
Okay. So typically, what would people spend per month? Just like an estimate, would you think, for like gas, water, electric? You can even throw in like Wi-Fi. That's a requirement today. What would people, do you think, pay per month for something like that?
So it really depends on the size of the place that you're living in.
Hmm.
So I know people that pay around $50 a month.
Okay.
My utilities average around $150 a month. So that
Okay.
includes electricity, gas, water, Wi-Fi, all of those.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. As far as like the grocery, how much do you budget for groceries per month? And I'm guessing, based on the situation that you just brought up, that the groceries have probably climbed a bit over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I first moved here, everything in Budapest was about a third of the cost of what it was in the United States.
Wow.
So, when I first lived here and even when I first moved back, I kind of lived like royalty, going out to the nicest restaurants, not even thinking twice at the grocery store.
Sure.
However, because of the situation with Russia and Ukraine, the inflation rate has skyrocketed in Hungary, and groceries are actually more expensive than they are in the US right now.
How much would one person need to budget, do you think, per month? How much do you budget per month?
My current budget may not be applicable to most people because I have three children. I have two
Okay.
teenage boys that need,
Oh,
I'm sure
geez. There you
Yes.
go.
Yeah, my sons are 15 and 16, so my grocery budget is astronomical.
Wow.
But I think for the average individual, around $300 a month.
And you actually go beyond that because of your teenagers.
You don't even want to know how much I spend in groceries because of my teenagers. So, I will try to plan my meals according to, what's in season, what's on sale, things like that. And so I'll occasionally try to make a larger meal for them to have for lunch, but
Yeah.
you know,
So
when
that's
it's
one
time to clean
that
up dinner, it's all gone.
that's so awesome that you have your kids over there and that they're experiencing growing up in Europe. Are they going, what kind of a school system are they in?
So my daughter is in a bilingual kindergarten, and my older sons, they decided they wanted to continue online schooling from the US here.
Okay.
Now, the Hungarian school system is very different than the United States. And if you do not speak Hungarian when you move here, they will automatically hold you back 1 to 2 grades.
I see.
Yes,
Interesting.
and there are options of different international schools.
Right.
However, they are very, very expensive. So
Yeah.
they're around $35,000 a year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah,
there's probably an American International School in Budapest, right?
there is, and it's about
Yeah.
40,000 US dollars a year per
Crazy.
child.
Unreal.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not an option.
No, not for me either.
All right. So getting around, what do people do to move around Budapest? Is there a metro system there?
Yes. So Budapest actually has one of the best public transportation systems in the entire world. So there is a metro system. There are four separate lines that run throughout the city and even into the outskirts of the city. There are also an extensive network of trams.
Okay.
We also have suburban trains. We have city trains. So there's no
Wow.
shortage of ways to get around the city here.
Wow, that's great. So what would people, like a person, that's working in Budapest, what would they budget, do you think, per month?
So I can actually tell you exactly. So if you live here, the monthly cost for a card that's the public transportation system, so unlimited usage, that is around $30 a month.
Okay.
However, if you are a student, it's only around $10 a month.
So that's really great.
It
That's
is. It's
fantastic. Yeah.
fabulous.
For
Yes.
the full month. All right. And Danielle, what do people do for fun, for entertainment and fun, and how, like, and then how much would that budget cost per month if you break it down? What do people do for fun there?
So this is one of the things that I absolutely love about Budapest is there are no shortage of things to do for fun. There's always some sort of festival going on. We have so many different parks that are absolutely gorgeous that have castles right in the middle of the park. And then two, most people that travel throughout Europe come to Budapest for the nightlife. So our nightlife here is unmatched to anywhere else in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, you have nightclubs, you have bars, restaurants. There's really no shortage of things to do. We actually just had a music festival last week that's one of the biggest in Europe. So that was a lot of fun. It's very inexpensive for most people to go. There's always something going on. And so it really depends on you as a person. If you're the type of person that likes to go out, have a few drinks, maybe go to a nightclub, you may spend around $200 a month, I would
Okay.
say. Now, if you're the type of person that would rather go to a nice restaurant and have a glass of wine, you may spend a little bit more.
Okay.
So, just because of the fact that food prices have risen significantly here,
Yeah.
things like restaurants are a little more expensive. However, if you're just looking to have a good time, it's, fairly cheap because here alcohol is actually less expensive than water.
Wow.
Oddly enough, yes. Yeah, you can buy a beer for about half the price of a bottle of water.
That's
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah, we have a lot of tourists come from throughout Europe and, fill our streets with a lot of, you know, fun and outrageous activities. So,
Sure. Sure. So so now the other thing that people always want to know about is healthcare. What kind of healthcare programs do they have? And can expats or retirees access that?
so Hungary does have socialized healthcare. However, the only way that you can access it is if you come to Hungary through your employer. Otherwise, it is not able to be bought into just, if you're here as an expat. That being said, they do have a private healthcare system here, which is very, very nice. I mean, it's, something that we would consider even top of the line in the United States.
Okay.
So, the way that I get around this is I actually pay for private health insurance through a
Mhm.
global company. Now,
Okay.
you can get plans anywhere from $50 a month to $250 a month for a family plan. And that is far less expensive than traditional healthcare and insurance costs in the United States.
Yeah.
So that's what I recommend. Um, there are many different companies out there that are absolutely wonderful, and you can use those. But also, the different private healthcare companies within Hungary do offer their own individual plans as well.
Are those as affordable, or are they more?
Um, they're a little bit more, but they usually include unlimited doctor's visits. They have in-house specialists, things like that. So it is a little bit more expensive,
Hmm.
but you're not paying any co-pays. Everything's just taken care of.
What's the estimate for, like, you gave like 250 for, well, 50 to 250 for a family, for an
So
individual?
50 is for the individual, up to
50.
250 for the
Okay.
family plan. Yes.
Well, that's very affordable compared to the United States.
Yes, it is.
So that covers pretty much everything. Is there anything else that you can think of that we didn't discuss that the viewers it could be helpful for them?
Yes. So Budapest is one of the most beautiful cities in the entire world. And the country itself, Hungary, has this amazing culture that I have not found anywhere. The food is fabulous. It's similar to most Eastern European lifestyle food. The people are very welcoming, nice. You have the rich and hearty food. It's very family oriented, but there is still that nightlife element for different people that maybe choose to go that route. Um, but the city itself of Budapest is so beautiful. It's so lively. There is absolutely nothing that you can't find here that you could find anywhere else.
Hmm.
And that is one of the things that I really, really enjoy about being here. Also, it is, even though inflation is high right now, it is relatively inexpensive for a capital European city. And there's also a wide range of transportation methods throughout Budapest. So you have no problem getting from one area to the other. It's a very, very walkable city, which I absolutely love. But it's nice too because you're in within Europe, so it's easily accessible to go to any other country. You can
Sure.
get on a train and be in Austria in 1 hour. You could take a flight for 2 hours and be in Spain. So there are a lot of different options to travel throughout Europe from Hungary.
Yeah. If you do take a plane to Spain, what is typically a cost to fly round trip?
So they do have the budget airlines. Hungary has their own. It's called Wizz Air, but you also have Ryanair and other budget airlines like that. If you can get a good price, I've seen it for around $30 for a round trip ticket.
Okay.
Usually maximum is around $200 a ticket round trip.
Wow. Okay, so very
Yeah,
affordable.
very, very affordable. But the
Okay.
train system is actually what I would recommend because you can take a train pretty much anywhere throughout Europe and it's very inexpensive. I mean,
Mhm.
we're talking for a first class train ticket, it's around 25 US dollars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I know that, like, I've heard in Italy, France, that the cost of jumping on a train and going to a different country is more expensive now than it is to get a ticket on Ryanair.
No, that is not the case in Hungary at all. It's still very inexpensive. I actually went to Vienna not too long ago and it was less than $20 for a round trip ticket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. Well, that's really all I have. Again, Danielle, thanks so much for your time. And it's your evening. We're just getting
Yeah.
started over here, so have a great rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.